Hey, welcome back to your PRV moment with Lori Williams. I got a question the other day in my email. Someone asked me about whether a lot of viewers viewing a certain target, like say the Eiffel Tower, could contaminate the target. My answer to that was no. Why would it contaminate the target? I've been remote viewing for 24 years. I've never seen any evidence that a lot of viewers viewing the same target could contaminate the target. What I have found, though, is that if you remote view a target a lot, and a lot of viewers are remote viewing it, it's kind of comparable to if you went into a really dense forest and you wanted to create a path and you had a machete and you're hacking through the forest. It's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. And you're going to be hacking away and trying to make progress. And then somebody behind you with a machete is going to have a little bit easier time thanks to you because you've already started the process. And then the person behind that person is going to have an easier time, etc. Until finally you've got a beautiful trail that's open that everybody can walk on freely and easily. So the theory is that by frequently viewing a target or by a lot of viewers viewing the same target, we're effectively wearing a memory path to the target, making it easier and easier to view. Now, this is just a theory. I don't know that it's ever been proven in any way. One thing that has been proven, though, is morphic resonance. And with morphic resonance, what morphic resonance is that the more people that learn something, the easier it is to learn. So the story goes that there was a big group of Americans who had no knowledge of Mandarin Chinese, and the group was split into two so that they were two even groups of people. And group A was given a really famous Chinese lullaby to listen to and memorize. And group B was given the same lullaby, but it was mixed up. They took all the syllables and the sounds and they mixed them up. And it really shouldn't have mattered because nobody knew Mandarin anyway. So they were just memorizing a tune and a lot of syllables and sounds, right? Well, group A was able to learn the lullaby something like 20 times faster simply because a billion Chinese knew this lullaby, whereas group B had a lot more difficulty learning their thing that they were trying to memorize. It's kind of like the 100th monkey theory. I don't know if you've ever heard of the 100th monkey theory, but it has to do with 3 tropical islands that were inhabited by monkeys. In one of the islands, the tourists would throw food. The monkeys would scoop the food up with dirt in it and everything and eat the food. And then one day, one of the monkeys got the brilliant idea to wash the food off in the ocean before he ate it. And several other monkeys watched this monkey do it. You know, monkey see, monkey do. They started washing their food. Older monkeys were kind of like, this is suspicious. You know, these young whippersnapper monkeys doing this radical thing. But eventually, they finally gave in and they started also washing the food. And then it's kind of like critical mass. Suddenly, all the monkeys on all the islands started washing their food before they ate it. Now, I don't know if this is a legend or just a story somebody made up or whatever, but it's trying to illustrate a point. And it's a pretty well-known thing. A lot of people have heard, you've probably heard of the 100th monkey theory. But the idea is that we reach a point of critical mass when things suddenly kind of catch on. For example, Alexander Graham Bell got the patent for the telephone. But simultaneously, throughout the entire world, there were several inventors that invented the telephone at the same time. Now, is this information just sort of floating around and creative, tuned-in people pick up on it? Possibly. And maybe that's why these things would all of a sudden happen around the world simultaneously. We know that Albert Einstein had a way of being very creative, and so did Thomas Edison. I know that one of them would go to sit in a chair to take a little nap, and would have like a spoon or something in his hand. And as he dozed off, he would drop the spoon. That would wake him up. But he wanted to keep himself at a level of consciousness that was especially creative. And that's why he would make sure and wake himself up, because he didn't want to go into a deep sleep. He wanted to kind of stay at that perfect level of consciousness. Okay, so what's the point in all this? The point in all this is, number one, I don't believe it's possible to contaminate a target by viewing it. I think that right now, anyway, for the majority of remote viewers, nobody has that kind of ability. So I don't think you have to worry about contaminating a target. Number two, you can build a memory path to the target. If you are going to view a target that you've been assigned, let's say through the Club PRV, one thing that you might want to try is viewing for different periods of time. Like try viewing for 10-minute intervals, break and resume later. And keep doing that so that you've maybe viewed the target 3 or 4 or 5 times before you actually end the session and do a summary. And you can have longer intervals than 10 minutes. I don't mean mandatory only 10 minutes. I mean, you could try viewing for 15-minute intervals or 20-minute intervals, whatever works for you. And you can vary it up. Like maybe Tuesday you're sitting down for 10 minutes and then you get called away. So you put break and you put the time and the reason for the break. Then you resume the next day on Wednesday and you view for 20 minutes. You take a break, you resume on Thursday and you view for 30 minutes. Whatever you like, whatever works for your schedule. But the idea is break and resume, break and resume, break and resume. And that's really good for you for 2 reasons. One is that it kind of helps you get away from that, I've got to see the feedback, I've got to see the feedback, I've got to know what I was remote viewing, which you need to kind of break away from if you're going to get into professional remote viewing. Because with professional remote viewing and operations, you sometimes don't get feedback for a long time. Sometimes months or even years. One time I got feedback 11 years after I did a target. Okay, so you want to be sure that you break away from that need to see the feedback immediately, and this is a great way to do it, and it also builds a memory path to the target, which each time you resume, it makes it a little easier for you to view. And not only easier for you to view, but for other viewers to view as well, because it's sort of like we're building this memory path through the ethers, and it helps other viewers as well. This has been your PRV moment with Lori Williams. Thanks for being here with me, and I'll see you next week.